Hey, this is Emily Hawkins with Your Life, Your Coach. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my good friend, Scott Ferguson. Let's level up.
Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. It is Scott Ferguson, and I cannot wait to get this interview with my good friend Emily Hawkins from Your Life, Your Coach. And she's not just like your run of the mill kind of life coach. She's like me, she's a gap coach because everybody knows what they want. They just don't know how to talk themselves into it. You know where you want to get to, you know where you are. We help you bridge the gap. But she does it in a way that is super fun and super involved, and she lets you really take responsibility for what you're trying to get yourself to. I asked her some tough questions. She absolutely rocked them off. There's no pausing. I'll tell you what, if you want a solid coach to bring in and level your company up, or you need to turn around, Emily is your person. So if you like this, please share it or smash the subscribe button. My sponsors and affiliates absolutely love that. So without further ado, here's my really good friend from Your Life, Your Coach, Emily Hawkins. Let's level up. Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and off the mic, I was talking a little bit about my good friend, Emily Hawkins here, about where she lives and resides, and how I just love that part of Georgia. It's beautiful, it's historical, and I get to speak there in a month or so, and hopefully I get to meet her. But I'm going to bring her on here for everybody else out there to meet her, who is Emily Hawkins, creator of LeaderSHIFT. That's LeaderSHIFT, SHIFT. It's a program dedicated to helping small business owners escape the chaos of complexity and build profitable, sustainable businesses they love. With 15 years of experience saving corporate giants millions, Emily now empowers entrepreneurs with those same high-impact strategies, streamlining operations, boosting profits, and reigniting their passion for business. Her unique blend of an MBA, supply chain expertise, and life coaching certification has been featured in, get this, squad, Forbes. And her message is clear. You don't need a fancy degree to succeed, just curiosity and the courage to try something new. And I think that she's kind of like my sister from another mister, because we have just met here on Zoom, and we have some of the same ideals, same mannerisms, same everything. But here she is. Emily, please introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Oh, I love that. Okay, so I love that you're asking me this for one reason. There's a new feature in ChatGPT that you can play with,
Hmm.
and it's like an ask feature if you're on the main app on
Yeah.
your desktop. And I asked what's my favorite color, and it comes back with the snarkiest answers. And it said to me, don't say something boring like blue, because
Right.
that's what 78% of the population would say. And it
Right.
means you're non-committal.
Hmm.
Scott, my favorite color is blue.
Okay. So chat's a liar.
So apparently I am non-committal. And I was reading it to my husband and he was like, oh, that's like real mean. I was like, I know, right? But I did love it. So my favorite color is blue, regardless of what ChatGPT believes about it. So
Right. And I love that you kind of lean into chat. Like me and Chad, I've like named him Philo because that was my call sign in the military in Iraq and Afghanistan. So I can ask, hey, what's your name? He said, what's my name? What do I do? And over the past 18 months of getting to know each other, he like knows me. Like it's
so
crazy what he
helpful.
does. It's amazing. But no, seriously, thank you for coming on. And I mean, our professions are kind of lateral, but they're not, in the same time, in the same sense. Tell us a little bit about your origins, because I know you kicked butt in the MBA world, that kind of stuff. I'm not educated as you. I don't have any letters after my name or anything like that. But like, kind of get to the origins of where you got to now. You're helping people kind of level up their game.
Most definitely. So first, I want to tell you what MBA stands for. It stands for much bigger whole. Not going to use swear words here. But when I was in graduate school, I saw this firsthand, by the way. People that thought this piece of paper that was going to just magically make you really smart. I don't know, like put a crown on your head,
Right.
ordain you as
Yeah.
something.
Right.
And what I have found over the years is that I think that MBA, so many people actually hold an MBA without actually going to school because they've done the work for it. So
Thank you.
I actually think you're probably more qualified than half the people I went to school with. So
You
I
hear
just
that,
wanted to
Brianne?
throw that there.
Brianne's one of my marketing, and she's one of my employees, and she has an MBA. Now I have a little acronym to work with her on.
Amen. Amen.
No, but
Please
she's
say
not.
it.
She's my savior. So which is
Uh-huh.
awesome. So I love that you said that.
Oh,
So
yes. Well, I spent 15 years in the corporate world. I loved everything that I did, working with Fortune 500s all the way down to a small startup where I streamlined processes, people, systems. I mean, I did it all. But what's so fascinating is I sucked at managing people. I started managing people. You were mentioning when we were a little bit earlier before we were on here about my pregnancy, and that pregnancy was 13 years ago. So that was a while
right.
ago.
You haven't aged a bit, sweetie. I mean,
Well,
like
thank you. I
legit. If
will
you're
take
watching
that.
on Vimeo or YouTube, she's stunning. She just looks like somebody you don't want to mess around with in business too. You just have that, like, not the when you talk to you, just the look, like
Well,
you're
that's
bringing it every
very
day.
kind. That
Yeah,
I will take that, especially from
go.
somebody like you that told me your age before this. And I was like, there's no way. You're some sort of vampire living in Florida.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
anyway.
Thank you.
Well, I actually got the pull to leave the corporate world after learning how to manage people. So when I was pregnant with my daughter was when I also had the opportunity to start leading people. And I thought my mom managed 500 people. She was a part of a very large organization. And I just thought, well, it's part of my blood. It's in my DNA. I was told my whole life that my mother was this amazing leader and all this. So I'm like, oh, of course, I'm just going to be amazing at this. No, no, I was awful.
Okay.
It was as if I had a revolving door in my office of just burning people out. And the thing that I really screwed up at the beginning was thinking that everyone thought and acted like I did. And they don't. And it's more about listening and asking questions and being curious, and less about what is the killer of most businesses, which is assumption. And I was such a big assumer. And so I had the opportunity a couple years after that experience to rehire half my team because half my team left. It was a really rough period of time. I was getting about 4 hours of sleep trying to do all of these roles. And
And
I,
being a domestic engineer at home, right?
yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
wow.
Trying to do
Wow.
all the things. And at that point, I had a newborn and a 3-year old. So, yeah. So let's just make everything in life hard.
Right.
So I was getting no sleep, and to your point, crazy home life and business life. And I started to realize that I really wanted better employees. That's what was really going to help me is better employees. So I locked myself in my office at work, and I sat down in front of my computer, and I wrote out this document, and I called it the dream employee. And I started writing things in it about what would this person be? How would they act? And so I was like, they will never be late, and they will never da 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 da. And then I was like, well, if it's a dream employee, it's not about what they wouldn't do, it's about what they would do. And so I need this entire document to be
I
positives.
love
So
this. Yes.
yeah, so I deleted everything out and realized that I was going to do something real hard.
Right.
And then it just started flowing out of me, conversations we would have, how they would support me, what we would do on a daily basis, how they would push me. And so I ended up writing about 2 pages of this, so
Hmm.
excited for about 2.5 seconds until I realized that if those people showed up for me, I wasn't the leader that they needed. I had to take a lot more accountability in terms of this person, if it shows up, needs support and so much that I am not giving. I was blaming, I like to call it the easy way to blame
Sure.
other people and all of that finger
Right.
pointing. And so this happened to be around Christmas time, and I decided in January, I'm coming back and I'm going to onboard the entire team. So
Wow.
I was lucky enough to find these dream employees. It was November that I wrote this list. December, 3 amazing people. I swear I called them in, showed up. And then in January, I onboarded those people, but I actually brought the rest of my team in, and I said, we're going to pretend like it's everybody's day one. It's not just theirs. And I showed up so different. I showed up as a mentor and a support and a guide. And I ended up bringing different functions of the organization in to talk to my team as if everybody was new. What do you hate about my team and what they do? It's not personal. What do you love? What would you love to see from us? And I heard from so many different people inside the company, but my team in particular that was already on board, that had been there for a while. This is amazing. This is like the most well thought out piece of time that we've had as a
Right.
group. And it's one thing to hear that, but it's another in 90 days for us to then become the most productive team in the organization.
Wow. Yeah.
And I know, and we were also the largest cost center in the business. So it was very important. We were actually above benefits and all that. We were inventory and planning and all of these other things. So we were spending a lot of money for the business. Sure. And so it was incredibly important that we were efficient. And watching that and watching this amazing group of people come alive and find these beautiful gifts in them and work off one another, because I didn't just have that meeting and then stop.
Right.
We continued every week with a cadence of weekly goals, really deputizing everybody in the group as a subject matter expert in something, so that everyone was a rock star in their own way.
To become entrepreneurs within.
That's exactly what.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
And then I got bored because everything was working. Right. Nobody was in my office anymore. I mean, it was just running, firing on all cylinders. I was taking Fridays off, and I started to get this urge to do something else. And I didn't know what it was. And actually, the 3 people that I hired in December started saying, you should be a life coach. And I was like, okay, I have 2 business degrees. That is not real. That's not a real profession. That's not a real thing.
Love it.
But it kept coming up. So I'm one of those people that if something comes up enough, that you should explore it. So I ended up finding the Tony Robbins organization, the Robbins Madonnas program. I liked it because it was a certification. You actually had to sit for boards, do a dissertation. I was like, I'm in. Amazing. It was like a fish finding water. I took my business acumen and I was able to really layer on it a language and a way of doing things that really connected with people in a deep way. So you can't just take that information and hold it to yourself. So I started dreaming about, what if I could help 100 people? It would be really cool, and not inside of my organization, because people knew me and they would come from all different walks in the company and be like, hey, I heard that you build out plans for people and you tell them about books to read and all these things. That was safe. That was easy. I could do that in my sleep.
Right.
But 100 people outside of my organization felt hard. Right. So in April of 2017, I left the corporate world. By 2020, I had coached 2,500 people and landed myself in Forbes. And I realized that I was dreaming small.
Yeah.
And that there was so much more, because I'm just getting started.
Sure.
And what I love and what I mainly want to talk about is how simple all of this is.
Sure.
Because I know I'm saying all these grandiose things and it sounds like, whoa, anybody could do that. They can. Anybody can do that. Mm-hmm. And it's super, super simple. So that's a little bit about me.
No, that's beautiful. I love that you, like, for lack of a better term, ate crow, kind of realized what you did. You were transparent and humble. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Squad, you hear, like, she went out and she made, like, the employees of the company almost entrepreneurs, put them in roles to where they were making decisions. They'd only have to come see her, probably if, like, something was burning down metaphorically. And then all of a sudden her office became empty because people were taking responsibility, which we all say is the ability to respond, right, into anything, not react. So that's beautiful what you kind of set up. That's excellent. So now, do you coach people kind of when you, let's just say you're meeting with a company leader and you're having that discovery conversation, make sure you're the right horse for the course, right, for them. So what's your secret sauce, if you don't mind sharing some, that you maybe helps them shine a light on their initial blind spot, their biggest challenge that becomes an opportunity for them?
Yeah, most definitely. I will tell you that I work with businesses that are usually at the $850,000 a year and above mark. Sure. And I want to mention that only because I find anything below that is typically a marketing problem.
Gotcha.
And marketing's great. Marketing has its place. We all need it.
100%.
That is the backbone of starting a business. That's not what I do. I grow the people, the systems, the processes. So back to your point about what do those conversations look like and what is a good fit. I love finding people who think they need more, because my goal is to show them that they actually don't. They need less of everything. They probably need less systems than they already own. They probably need less programs, processes, all the things. They just need to double down on any of those and focus and figure out exactly what it is that they want. I joke all the time. I don't know if you've seen that meme of Ryan Gosling from The Notebook where he's like, "What do you want? What do you want?" I spend the majority of my life that way.
Right.
Because
Right.
most business owners are like, "Oh, I'm so pissed off about blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah." So I'm like, "All right, cool. I love
Yeah.
that. Let's start there.
Right.
So what do you want?" And then they're like, it's like cricket sounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
"Oh, you can have anything you want." And they're like, "Oh, I have no idea."
Right.
And that is really where we start. And I really, like I said, focus on people, processes, and systems.
Sure.
And I don't even do it in a certain order. It really does depend on the
It's
business.
organically.
Because
Yeah.
some people need to hire right away.
Good.
And I have a whole system for hiring
Nice.
and onboarding to get that on board and get that person within 90 days, really a functioning working member of the team and really
Right.
truly offloading work. But sometimes, like I said, I worked with a business that we found $30,000 in savings just because they had old software that they weren't using.
Right.
They were
Right.
still paying for it.
Right.
So more is not always the answer. And then the other thing I will say, the only more that I always find being the case is more communication.
Yeah.
It is rare. I have yet to work with any business that the employees say, "Gosh, the owner, he just tells me too much. He's just so over communicative. I just wish he would tell me less." No, no. It's always, we don't mean to, but we
Right.
treat our employees somewhat like mushrooms,
Yeah.
fed
Kept in the
poop and
dark
kept in the dark.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we don't mean to.
Right.
We just forget that they actually need to be a part of our thought processes. They need to be a part of what's happening. And this is one of the reasons why one of the things that I try to implement with businesses as soon as possible is the weekly goals that I started with my own team. And you can talk about a year, you can talk about 6 months, you can
Sure.
talk about 12 weeks, you can talk about like all these different time frames, and they're all too long for your team.
Right.
If
Right.
you talk about what are we doing in the next 5 days, because that's really a week in the business world,
Sure.
it makes people move into action
Yeah.
because that's the time period we have. And so I always say that you can move your business forward 52%, 1% every single week. But it
Absolutely.
only happens if you get really granular. One of my clients wanted to give me I don't know if you've seen that big calendar that you can buy. It's called like the big ASS calendar.
Oh yeah, the big ass
Yeah,
calendar.
it's
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Sure.
yeah, it's like 365 days or something. I was like, do not, I don't want that anywhere near me.
Right.
That's too big.
Right.
And I'm fine with a plan, right? But when it comes to action, I only want to look at a week at a time.
Love it.
Because if you don't, I think it's Tony Robbins that said we overestimate what we can do in a year.
Yep.
And we underestimate what we could do in a decade. I
Sure.
actually would say we overestimate what we could do in a year and we far underestimate what we can do in a week.
Yep. I love that. So Emily, if you're in that conversation, maybe still with them and they're thinking, we're going to bring her on and have her level us up. Is there any good question that you wish they would ask you, but never do?
Oh, goodness. Well, everyone wants to know, how long is this going to take?
Mhm.
And I will tell you that it's different for different people. And it's really about how teachable and coachable they are. I had a client that right before this called me and he was like, "So I had a financial group in here because I was going to hire them to really double down on my books and make sure that everything was running smoothly. And they told me that everything that you and I have done together, they have nothing to do here. There's zero reason for me to be here because we've really leveled up so much." And I was like,
Sure.
"Oh, I love this. I love this so much." But that only happens because I share things with this specific business owner and he goes and does it.
Does it? He takes action.
He takes action.
What's expected of me is if I was to bring you, I'd be like, okay, we're going to dial this in and we're going to do this. What's expected in a week, 52% better in a year. This is awesome. Love what I'm hearing. Like, what do you expect of me to do this? Because it's going to be way out of what I'm probably doing already. So that might be something I might ask you.
Yes. And I love that you're asking that because that's really where most business owners go is they're like, oh, how much time is this going to take?
Right.
And my thought is on that is how much time is it going to take for the business to run into the ground?
Sure.
So if you
Flip
don't
it back on
change,
them. Right.
yeah,
Yes.
if you
Yeah.
change nothing, how long do you have?
Right.
And by the way, I've heard, I think I've got 90 days.
Right.
I think I've got a year. I'm ready to sell.
Right.
And it's funny. I mean, you can sell, but if you don't have any processes in place or systems, you're not really going to get much money for it anyway. So that doesn't solve your problem either.
Right.
So one of the things that I have them do is record everything they're doing.
Love it.
And I usually get them to do it through Loom, Loom.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
Yeah, because I don't want to just hear in your voice what you're doing. I want to see it. I want to see, how are you managing your email? How are you answering client things? How are you using the systems that you use? And the reason, usually about a weekend, they're like, well, I haven't done it yet because they think I need some like great video. And I'm like, no, I need literally you on a Tuesday having a panic attack, going through your emails.
Yeah.
That's what nobody's going to see these videos but me.
Right.
And from that, we can create SOPs.
Sure.
We can get this off their plate. We can systematize what they're doing. We can change. Oh, I see that you're using this, but actually we can streamline that. What? Yeah. We can do that. And so, and that's just by them recording what they're actually doing already. It's not
you dig down deep and like you use the Gosling thing. What do you want? Like I call it awe. Like, and what else? And what else? Especially because I'm a gap coach. I know where you want to get to, know where you are. I help you bridge the gap. We do it together. And my superpower, probably like yours, is curiosity. And if I just, and what else, and what else, and what else, it's never the thing that they think it is.
Ever.
In the business or even this. So let me ask you something, Emily. Have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
Oh my gosh, of course.
Okay, so that movie is like 40 years old next week, right? In April. So let's get that DeLorean with Marty McFly. Let's go back to the Double Deuce, the 22-year-old Emily, okay? What kind of knowledge nuggets might you drop on her?
Oh, goodness.
Not to change anything, but to maybe help her shorten a learning curve.
Oh, man. Okay, first of all, 22-year-old Emily would not have listened to anything, even 44-year-old Emily. So just to give you a glimpse of 22-year-old Emily, I was getting married. By the way, I got divorced at 26 and ended up meeting my husband through a friend. And we've been married. We've been together for 17 years and we've been married for 14.
Awesome.
I was 15.
Congratulations.
I needed every single thing that happened in my life, that first marriage, all the jobs, all the interactions, being a crappy boss, all of those things. So I think what I would say to her is, you're going to do things that feel wrong and feel like maybe you're not the nicest person. Maybe you're going the wrong way. And all of it is leading you in the right path.
Love it.
So
journey it.
I'm not going to share anything about what's about to happen. I just need you to know that there's a purpose to all of it. And it's going to be amazing.
That is one of the best answers I've ever heard. That's awesome. Like, don't change anything.
Yeah.
Right. But just enjoy the journey in a sense. It's going to suck at some parts. Absolutely suck. I've been married a couple of times myself. And that's the only thing I would ask is that, like, if you're stuck on something, myself, my 22-year-old self, I'd be like, get your ass in gear. Like, ask. There's people out there that want to answer questions for you. And speaking of that, how does Emily want her dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and your death date. Hopefully it's way down the road, but how does Emily want her dash remembered?
Ooh, interesting. I think it's, wow, she showed me what I already was inside of me.
Keep going.
Yeah.
I know where you're going with this. Keep going.
Yeah.
You
It was,
showed me what I'm already capable of in a sense.
yeah, like
Yeah.
she just helped me look in the mirror, right?
Yes.
It's nothing special. You don't need to spend $7 million and get plastic surgery. I don't know. I have no
No,
idea.
I got it. I love that. That
It's you already have it. It's already there.
yeah.
So I
What do you
think
think?
that's what I want to be remembered for.
What do you think people might misunderstand the most about Emily?
What people misunderstand about themselves or
No, about
me?
you.
Oh gosh. So number one question I get asked is how I do my hair.
It is it is curly
Um,
Q. I love it. I
it's
love it.
it's naturally curly. It's not the natural color, and that's all I'll say there. Um,
Fine.
what I will tell you about my hair is it took me 15 years to figure out the process to understand it. Anybody that has curly hair totally knows this. It's a process.
Right.
But what I find most fascinating is that everything in my life has been some sort of process.
Yeah.
And I am not one to tell you these great things without testing it on me first. And so I think the most misunderstood thing is that I have these pithy little things that I'm going to share with you. And I don't know, read it in a book or
And then
something.
just
I'm not
pass it
sure.
along. Thank you. That's
And
awesome.
everything
Yeah.
has been tested on me first.
You've lived it. I love
Yeah.
it. So, what is Emily's definition of a life well lived?
Not playing small, which means being scared a lot, doing things that make you like nervous. If you're not nervous at least once a week, you're probably not living
Yeah.
truly to your potential.
I sent out so many texts this morning because I have protocol that I activate the reticular activating system in everybody that I coach. And they have got to get me by 9 a.m. their time. I don't care if it's Singapore, my client there, or wherever they're at. They got to get me like 3 things they're grateful for, their intention for the day, and it's stuff like that. And it's just we're so linked alike and like how we kind of run our coaching business with that. But just
Mhm.
to not play big. And one of my biggest questions lately has been, what's scared the shit out of you lately? If not, let's find something
Yeah.
safely to do it. I love that. Time to shine today. Podcast Varsity Squad. We are back. And Emily, hopefully when I'm Marietta, we can hook up for a coffee and just kind of wrap. And we might talk about some of these questions 15, 20 minutes. But today, you've got 5 seconds with no explanations. And I promise you they can all be answered that way. You ready to level up?
Let's do it.
All right. Emily, what is the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Do it scared.
Thank you. Awesome. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Focus.
Love it. You see me kind of walking around. Man, Fergie looks like he's in his doldrums a little bit. Is there any book that was ever handed to you that really kind of flipped the switch and really kind of gave you a different outlook?
My gosh, I have so many.
Right, me too.
I would say, is it Leading Yourself by Peter Drucker?
Yes, it
There's
is.
like
Yeah,
that book is like, ooh, so good.
legendary. Absolutely. Your most commonly used emoji when you text.
The crying laughing emoji.
Love it. Nicknames growing up.
M's, Emmy
Yeah.
Kite.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Any hidden talent and or superpower that you have that nobody knows about until now?
Ooh. I can cross my eyes, but I think people know.
Chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
I'm going to say checkers.
Okay, me too. Headline for your life.
Ooh, you have everything you need.
Yes. Go-to ice cream flavor.
Ooh, okay. So last week I was at the Museum of Ice Cream and I actually had vegan pistachio for the first time. So random, so good. Anyway, so that would
Love
be
it.
it.
Love it. So there's a sandwich called the Emmy Kite. Build that sandwich. What are we eating?
We're going to have whole wheat bread, turkey, lettuce, tomato, oil, vinegar, salt, pepper, oregano, thin slices of avocado.
There you go. Perfect
And
sandwich.
that's probably it.
I'm just throwing some man candy on there. I'll throw some bacon on there. But
Oh, yeah, totally. It's got to be like super crispy though.
Yes.
Super crispy bacon.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Yes.
Love it. Favorite charity and or organization you like to give your time and or money to?
Anything dyslexic related. Both my children are dyslexic. My brother's dyslexic. My husband's dyslexic. So many people in my family are. 78% of incarcerated people have some form of dyslexia. It is a hidden gift. 4 of the 5 people on Shark Tank.
That is so crazy you just said that because I coach and I'm breaking my own rule on the lightning round here. I coach pro bono at the Palm Beach Sheriff's the jail, and like I
Uh-huh.
take nonviolent criminals that are 30 days or less about to get released back into population. And when I go over their file, I give them like a vision, one of my hours of powers. And when I go over their file, almost all of them say dyslexic. Now
Uh-huh.
that you said that, it makes sense. And
Four
that's
of the five sharks on Shark Tank are dyslexic.
dyslexic. Yeah.
So the difference between the incarcerated and somebody like that is support.
Shift. That's love it.
And
LeaderSHIFT.
so
Yeah.
support is what we should all be giving
Beautiful.
anyone, because
Love
those
it.
people are geniuses. It's just they haven't been in the right environment and have the right support.
Exactly. Last question. Best decade of music, 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Did you say decade of music?
Yes, I did.
60s. The Beatles are like the best band ever.
I love it. I love it. So how can we find you, my friend?
You can come to my house. My address is, I'm just
Right on.
maybe a little too much. Emily Hawkins, the number 4, the letter U, everywhere. So that is on Facebook, on Instagram. Emily Hawkins, the number 4, the letter U.com is my website.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how you can find me.
Squad. Excellent. And I know that you have these awesome kind of diagnostic tests, discover your type. And if you're watching on Vimeo or YouTube right now, squad, this is one really kind of cool giveaway that my good friend Emily has, and it's very, very valuable. So tell us a little bit about what you have here.
Yeah, so I don't like just saying, here's something for free. I want to really give you something that you can use today with or without me. So I actually have 2 different opportunities. One is where you can take a diagnostic and find out the 3 essential shifts that your business needs this week. And the cool part is, if you fill out this diagnostic, you get personalized results, but you can also book a call with me. I will not sell you anything. I promise. I do not enjoy those things.
Sure.
And so you get that, and you get a free 45 minutes with me. You could also, if you're like, I don't know if I want to do that, I want to know more about me personally, you can take my Discover Your Unique Business Owner type. By the way, there is no bad business owner. It's just surrounding yourselves with the right people and the right systems to really elevate that and accelerate the business. So you can take that owner type, and again, you get 45 minutes with me. And what's so great about both of those calls is that I already know things about you. So we start off really going deep, and I love it. So yeah, free 45 minutes with me.
And squad, I'm going to do one even better. Like, I'm any entrepreneurs out there or business owners that are kind of struggling to listen to, thank you for tuning in, because I get messages every day from you guys that is really wants a little bit more than the 45 minutes. Reach out to me, because I'd like to put Emily into action with you, and reach out to me directly, and I can put you in touch, and I'll take care of the first few sessions for you. That's what I would like to do for my squad out there, Emily. If that's okay with you, we can work out something.
That's really
with that.
kind. Thank you so much. How
You're very
kind of
welcome.
that. That's so special.
You're welcome. And if you could, please leave us with one last knowledge nugget we can take with us, internalize, and take action on.
So if you are a business owner, something that I want you to do in the next 3 days is map out your customer journey, soup to nuts. How do they find you? Who do they interact with on your team? How do you deliver your services? Just this alone could change the game in your business, because most likely you haven't thought about this in a while. And so just mapping this out, you can do this in any way you want. Draw it, go on Canva, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then sit down with your team, whether that's your contractors, a team of 2 people, it doesn't matter. And talk through it, because you're going to find holes. And in those holes are dollar signs, and you will save yourself so much money, and you'll increase your revenue.
I love that. And it's build that avatar for the person that's actually looking for your squad. And squad, I just had a kind of a free masterclass, and we just realized that MBA is a much bigger a-hole, which I thought would make kind of funny and get a little giggles out of people. She sucked at managing people, but she also, in her time, picked up the strengths of leading people. Her humbleness and transparency with us is just a blessing for us to know that she noticed her weaknesses, thought everyone thought or acted like she should or she did, found out that didn't work, and she found curiosity over assumption was key. She found herself, what would a dream employee look like? It's about what they would do, not what you not want them to do. It's what they do. Okay. She took a lot more accountability, took responsibility, again, the ability to respond, and then really plugged people into where they became entrepreneurs within the company. Her business acumen and the way she could layer languages was just above reproach. I mean, my friend Emily is planting trees she's never going to sit in the shade of, right? She does things, I notice, for the intention, not the attention. You don't see her, like, she has fun Instagram. You have to check it out. They're fun. They're out there, that they're engaging, not like, look at me leaning against a Lambo or doing this. No, she's a fun person, but she's going to make you work for it. Okay. She's going to show you that you can show up as the person you are already capable of showing up as. She won't let you play small, and she wants you to be scared a lot. And lastly, for the business owners out there that might be struggling right now, map out your customer journey. Find out where they do, what they sell, what they smell, everything you can about them, that avatar. And that alone can change the game of your business. And I'm so glad that we had this conversation, Emily. You level up your health, you level up your wealth. You're absolutely stunning. You earned your varsity letter here at Time to Shine today. Thank you so much for coming on. Absolutely love your guts.
Thank you so much, Scott. It's been so fun.
Yay, chat soon.
Awesome.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today, proudly brought to you by Inlet Properties and Investments. If you are a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on the Time to Shine Today podcast, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you'd like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also, there you will see our recommended resources. We hope you will help support our show by supporting them. If you like what you have been listening to, it'd be great if you could give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's your time to shine.